Hi, it's week 2 of our 10-week series, and so this week we're going to be building on what we did last week, incorporating again some deep transversus and pelvic floor work as always, and you'll see us in various planes of motion once again. As always, please remember that to use your variations, modifications, stop this video whenever you need to and join us again when you're ready, and listen to your body first and foremost. I can't wait to practice with you. Let's begin. Hi, welcome back. So Lainey's going to be taking you through a warm-up this morning, and she's going to be taking you through some flexion work, some extension work, some lateral extension or side bending, as well as we'll be working with a little bit of balance and then finding neutral in a standing position. So Lainey, all right, let's get started. Grab your green ball, and Lainey will turn sideways. We'll work with some standing extension work. So with your feet parallel, toes forward, knees forward, pelvic neutral, soft knees. On the inhalation, move your pelvis forward as you extend up and back, so nice extension. Exhale, drop forward, drawing yourself down towards the floor. Roll yourself up, use your pelvic floor, stack your spine, wave your pelvis forward as you extend the ball. Nice breath in, exhale, folding it down. Relax your head. When you're ready, roll it back up. Inhaling, so it's like a wave-like motion. She's going to do 3 more. I welcome you to that as well. Making sure that your head is not leading the exercise, but rather your core or your trunk is. So really trying to pay attention to that pelvic floor contraction, really trying to pay attention to that internal activation. Lainey's going to do 1 more. It almost feels like you're a wet noodle in a sense, but a wet noodle with a really strong inner core. So she's going to end right at standing. Perfect. Awesome. She's going to face you now, and she's going to work with a little bit of some lateral extension. So let's have her actually step her feet a little bit wider, and when she's ready, we'll have her put the ball actually at her side. We'll work with a little bit more of a kind of a rolling side bend. So opposite arm comes up so it looks like the letter L, and on a nice breath in, and then rolling off to the side, kick your hip out as you side bend. Really relax both shoulders. Now your trunk lifts you. Exhale, pull yourself back up. Nice. And then again, coming back out. Inhale, really emphasize pressing the hip and then lifting with your internal and external oblique. So I'm going to tweak Lainey now and actually have her bend her elbow. So she's going to shoot her arm when she slides out. So if you're having any shoulder issues, it's a nice way to work with a bent and then straight elbow. Good. Let's do 1 more. Emphasizing press your hip. We're so tight through here. Really something I want you to pay attention to. Awesome. She's going to flip the ball now. And she's going to try the opposite side. So we're pressing the hip when she's ready, inhaling, rolling, breathe into your lung, and then exhaling strong middle as she comes back up. Nice, 4 more, Lainey. So as she works with you, I want you to pay attention that when you lift, you're not feeling pressure down and out into your pelvic floor, but you're really feeling this contraction up and in into your middle. Nice. Use your breath cohesively, no neck strain. Always turning your head to where it's most appropriate for you today. So when we think about alignment, part of alignment is really aligning ourselves for where our body is at and then working there progressively. Perfect. I'm going to actually have her go back to that tighter or weaker side. We're going to constantly be honoring 2-to-1 ratio. All right, here we go, Lainey. So inhaling, soft shoulder. Exhale, come up with that bent elbow. Relax your shoulder. Nice. So if you're someone, again, having rotator issues, tight shoulders, pinching shoulders, working with a bent and then straight elbow or straight and then bent is a nice combination to honor that shoulder socket. Lots of length here. Awesome. So 3 more. As you reach across, you're pressing with your foot and reaching with your arm and bopping that hip out so you can really stretch the tight fibers of the side body. How often do you do this during the day? Probably not that often. Awesome. She's going to finish up with 1 more. Press, 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 press. Probably feels a little tight. Nice job. All right, let's go into some balance work. So remember from week 1 where we were doing that kind of touch balance? Well, she's going to do that again. She'll do 5 on each side. So whenever you're ready, Lainey. And so remember, we're bringing ball to hand or hand to ball rather than folding and crunching. Imagine your core lifting your limbs up towards each other. Nice. This is a great right brain, left brain, simple exercise. Awesome. So 5 on one side and then 5 on the other side. Perfect. Being mindful not to grip with your toes, but really spread the foot out. If you wear shoes a lot during the day, I hope you're barefoot, not even sock-footed. Give that foot a chance to really maximize its spread and maximize its use. Nice. So hopefully each week your balance improves and you notice just a little bit more of an increase in stability. Looks great. Awesome. All right, let's review neutral. So Lainey can drop her ball off momentarily. And so just to review here, we're going to start standing, feet are forward. And we want to make sure, if you have shorts on and you can see me with a mirror, that the actual little creases on the backs of your knees should be pointing straight back. So a lot of times our femur heads are rotated even though we turn our feet forward. So just think about actually your thigh bones also pointing forward, which may change the rotation of your legs. So if I come behind Lainey, I can just kind of feel where her creases are, and they look pretty good. Awesome. And then that emphasis neutral. So pubis bone and ASIS, which is hip bone, anterior superior iliac spine would be the anatomical term. And we're going to line those three bony protrusions up with the front wall. We're not talking about flesh. We're talking about the actual bone. And when we do that, it puts our spine into our neutral, the neutral that we're born with, not the natural posture. My body always goes this way. So for some of you, this may feel really flat-backed. For others, this may feel like you have a lot of lordosis now because you're not used to your natural posture, where you belong, this neutral. All right, so up from there, just relax the front rib cage down. If you're really stiff and stuck and sticky here, a lot of times you might be really overly mobile in the bottom of your rib cage to compensate, so pay attention to that. And then relaxing your shoulders. Sorry, my hands are a little cold, Lainey. So you have as much of an open chest as possible. It's a work in progress. So during our exercises today, we're not grabbing with our chest and pec muscles, which many of us do. But we feel more so like our scapula are kind of laying flattest as possible across our back body. When they don't lay flat, a lot of times you're going to see that rounded forward shoulder, or what we call kyphosis. Nice. And then finally, the head is neutral, chin is level with the floor. You may feel again that your head is tucked back a lot further than what you're used to because you always have a forward head. That infamous screen time does wonders for us. So we're recreating this neutral in that seated V position, down on our back with the ball under our sacrum, sideline. Basically, this is the blueprint that we really base everything off of, both on and off the mat. We're not saying you walk around like a zombie, but what we are saying is if we can continually recreate this blueprint in our exercises or our mat practice, we're going to have such a better chance of doing that out there where this really matters and the whole reason why we're doing this in the first place. All right, ladies, so we're going to show you guys some partner work. So if you have someone at home, I want you to grab them. And you're going to grab a ball. Lainey's going to grab one for me as well. And we're going to come into a lunge position. Great work for the feet, as many of us find that we're in shoes all day. And you're going to step back with your right foot, as I will too. So we're going to get kind of close. And on the ball of the back foot, so you can get that nice stretch through the foot, bringing your balls up against each other. One person is the leader, the other person is the follower. With neutral hips, engaging the inner thighs, pelvic floor, deep transversus is strong, no kyphotic rounding, we're going to press. So I'll be the leader first, and then Lainey's going to be the leader. I'm going to guide her ball wherever I want, and she's going to have to keep a strong source here, and that strength is going to come through her arms against me. So she's not wobbling all over the place. All right, ready? Here we go. Breathe. Come on, Lainey, push against me. Push back, push back. So we're really trying to focus. I'm feeling this in my core as well. Nice. Keep breathing. How you doing, Lainey? Good. All right. All right, and switch. Now your partner's going to press. So a good memory, too. Staying in tune. And my core is really fired. I'm feeling my obliques. As she moves, I'm feeling my transversus, that deep core. I'm really noticing. Let's go 5, 4, I'm warm. 3, 2, 1, and release. Nice job. So it's just a nice way for you to really help you understand about that co-contracting. And what I mean by co-contracting is that automatic contraction of the collectiveness of your core muscles. We're not sucking in, we're not pushing out, we're not going navel to spine. The idea is that in your everyday life, you're not thinking suck it in order to use your core. You should be using your core at minimum of 30% idle throughout the entire day. That means that it's just contracting where it is, as is. And that's really the ideal, what we want for good, effective core work. So when we're practicing now with the green ball down on the mat, I want to encourage you to do just that. All right, Lainey, so set yourself up. She's going to sit in that seated position. Feet are aligned. So as Lainey gets all set up here, again, ball is snugly tucked, feet are sit bones distance. Second ball is going to be between her thighs, so we'll kind of knee, lower thigh. And make sure, again, your feet feel comfortably grounded. If they're not, setting a rolled towel under them will do as well. But probably a good sign you need to do a little bit of stretching out in your calves and Achilles as well. Backs of the legs are tight. Expect your feet to not be too comfy. All right, so she's going to sit upright first. So she feels like she's on her sit bones. And if you're feeling a little uneven, your pelvis might be a little out of alignment. So tall through the crown of the head, long through the spine. We're not projecting the chest. We're just feeling that internal stacking, honoring the four curves of the spine. So now again, right where your ball is, like there's a thumbtack down there, not in your lower back. For people that are really stiff in their lower back, this is going to be some good mental work for you. Exhale, little pelvic tilt initiated by the pelvic floor. You haven't lost any height. It's such a small tilt. Keeping that bathroom drain plug pulled up, I'm going to have Lainey lean back now about 45 degrees. Keeping that smiley face underneath her belly button drawn hip bone to hip bone. Nice. So let's just try with some stability here. So arms are going to come up in front. Let's just hold 5 breaths. So keeping open through the chest, soft through the neck. Some other arm variations again would be holding underneath the thighs. You could also go genie style arms if you needed to. Perfect. Inhale through the nose. And exhaling, you can change your angle just like Lainey was doing before. But remember, more is not always better. We want to make sure we can effectively stay neutral. One more breath. Good. Now exhale, lower your arms down, Lainey. Deep breath in, stay with me. Exhale, lift through your trunk, back upright. You can rest over your thighs, take a little break if you need to. Relax the shoulders, try to breathe along your back body. Great. All right, so now we're going to go again and we're going to move into that up-down movement with our arms that we worked on before. So everything works as before, feet are aligned, body is nice and tall, little tilt on the exhale. You're going to see this moving very slowly. Inhale, slide back slowly. Remember, we're hovering in front of the ball, not resting or slopping onto the ball. Inhale, lift your arms up without altering your spine. Exhale, lower the arms down and imagine really picking up through the pelvic floor. Inhale and exhale. So Lainey works on this regularly, so she's finding that her arm alignment can pretty much go alongside her ears. If you're new to this type of core work, I want to encourage you to really listen to that angle of the arms in reference to your body's abilities. Nice. A little hug on that green ball between the knees. Awesome. Let's try 5 more, Lainey. So inhaling up, soft jaw. Exhaling down. Awesome. Inhaling up. Breathe into your lungs rather than your belly. And exhaling down. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Let's try 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. And then exhale, stay here. Inhale, prepare, breathe into your lungs. Exhale, float yourself up. You should feel no pulling or jerking. Relax your arms down, take a breath for yourself. Good, nice little bound angle, releasing through the back. Really try to focus on relaxing your hips out as much as you can. Perfect. And just know, again, you might need to adjust the ball if you've moved forward, so that's nice and snug. You have a good hug on that green ball between the knees. Feet are very much planted. Body feels long, honoring that neutral. Awesome. So inhale, stay here. Exhale, little tilt. Good. Inhale, glide back. Awesome. So now we're going to play with the angle of the arms that best represents our core health. And we're going to work with an open close, almost like you're opening a great big encyclopedia on your chest each and every time. So on the inhalation, Lainey's going to open her arms only as far as she can keep neutral. And then exhaling, bringing the arms together, imagine buttoning a cardigan in front of you. So inhaling, opening, and if a sweater makes more sense, go for it. Exhaling, she's really quaking, so this is good work for your obliques. You should instantaneously feel, I know where my obliques are, sides of my waistline. Inhaling, If you're rounding or overly arching, your arms are going too wide. More is not more, or better. I want you to really think about going to that place where you feel that you're the strongest and you're the most stable and in that neutral zone. Good. And so let's go about 3 more. Good. Soft jaw, really soft face. Again, think about the pelvic floor as well. Awesome. This is your last one. Now stay here, deep breath in. Again, think about it, float up with that middle. Bring yourself back up, nice. And either drape over your legs or a little bound angle again. Really try to focus on breathing into your back body and relaxing out your legs. Several deep breaths. All right, so let's move down onto our back now. And as a review, we're setting the ball underneath the sacrum. And again, we're not up on the lower back. We're also not down on the booty cheeks. We're right on that sacral zone. Where then again, now my pelvis is neutral with the ceiling. So I want you to really think about making sure you have neutral pelvis, rib cage is relaxed, shoulders are soft. We'll have our palms turned in so we're not death gripping the floor. And again, honoring that deep pelvic floor contraction rather than the big glute squeeze, which many of us confuse for core work because those are big hunky muscles, and for many of us they're really easy to access. So I want you to make sure that they're more so contracting secondary rather than primary. All right, stability is our focus here. So nice big breath in, Lainey. Lift one leg at a time. I'm absolutely stable. It's like you're sneaking your leg up. And then the opposite leg up, really slow. If you're rocking and rolling, you're moving too quick. So deep breath in, you can bring your legs together, or you can place props between the knees and ankles. And I'm just gonna leave Lainey go here right now. She's doing a really great job. Now she could change her arm variation, perfect robot arm, or arms extended, depending on her core's capacity. Now I want to mind you that if she comes here, and she's rocking and rolling, granted, let's say, okay, but I'm not falling off the ball, but you're no longer effective. It's called misfiring. It's meaning that your muscles are not working in the proper order. They're not doing their job. Other stronger muscles are taking over. So I want to ask you, like I asked you last week, how long do you think you can hold this steadily, effectively, sneakily? Inhaling through the nose, exhaling that deep contraction. If you're struggling in the hip flexors, get something between the knees or bring one leg down and alternate, stabilizing yourself with only one leg up. I want you to feel effective. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling. We're going to try to stay here a couple more breaths. My theory is always stability before mobility, meaning if I can't be stable, I'm not ready to be mobile. And again, a man named Stuart McGill really follows this mentality as well in trying to help people to really get in their bodies rather than moving mindfully or mindlessly. We want to move mindfully, and that's my hope for you as well. All right, ladies, so big breath in, one leg down at a time, nice and steady, sneak it down. Awesome, all the way to the floor, and then you can drop the other leg as well. We'll take a break here. Awesome. Let's just do a couple rounds of a little pelvic tilt on the ball. So you can arch and drop your lower back on that green ball. You can over-exaggerate the movement if you want to bring your arms into play as well on those extensions. Just to really feel some stretch and some pull, I will gladly encourage you to do that. So maybe do like 3, Lainey. Awesome. So finding neutral again. Perfect. Pelvic floor contracts. Lift one leg at a time. We'll work with that toe tap. Remembering again, we're trying to keep 90-degree ankle at the knee and ankle and move from the hip joint. So if anything, feel free to place your hand at your hip socket or hip joint in order to feel that that's actually where the movement is coming from. We'll work one leg at a time, down on the inhale, up on the exhale. So Lainey, I want you to keep track of 5 on each side. So here we go. So down on the inhale, and then up, pelvic floor initiates. So again, Lainey's been working a long time on movements like this and really using her core functionally. So she's doing a really great job. She's alternating. You can alternate or you can do one side at a time. Totally up to you. So Lainey's going to keep track of her 5 on each side. Now, reasons why you're going too far down. You're feeling hip flexor pain. Your hip flexors are not helping you if your deep core can't do its job as well. So we want to stabilize in the pelvic floor transversus multifidi and then move into those movers, so as rectus obliques. Nice. So she could easily go halfway down, which she's going to show you on this next one. Just go halfway. Perfect. And then come back up again. Perfectly fine. You're still working your core effectively. Maybe she's only going to drop an inch. Maybe she's going to do this and have one foot on the floor. So there's lots of ways to work with this. So now, Lainey, bring both feet down slowly if you've completed your series. Take a breath. Reflect on which side you feel like though was either weaker or needed a little bit more work. We're going to go back to that side for 2-to-1 ratio. So she's going to line her pelvis up. She's going to take a nice big breath in. Exhale, lift her legs. Notice how I'm constantly keeping her slowing down so she can get in her body mentally. So eventually it's automatic. So she's going to choose here her left side. She's going to do 5 more. So if you feel like 5 more is too much, do 2 more. Do 1 more. Just come up and hold and balance. We're just trying to constantly revisit that 2-to-1 ratio so we can increase that weaker side up to the stronger side within around 5% or so. We'll always have somewhat of a dominant side just because of the nature of what we do during the day, but that doesn't mean we can't even it out a little bit. Perfect. So after your 5, Lainey, when you're ready, down slow. Good. And why don't you just drop your knees open into a little bound angle. So just letting the knees drop open. She can let the back arch if she wants to. Just a nice release in the hip flexor. Now, if you have a really tight lower back, you might find that stretches like this on a lifted surface are really intense. Get rid of the ball, every little stretch if you need to, until that lower back becomes more functional. Again, most of us, we're moving very stiffly. We're moving in chunks rather than little tiny micro movements, which is really how our body is designed to move. All right, so next movement here we're going to work with is we're going to work with a little side-to-side rocking. So remember this from last week when I had you tipping just a little bit one way and a little bit another way, kind of like the marble moving side to side like a pinball machine. If that marble was in your belly button, just go to the one hip bone and then come back. And then just go to the one hip bone and come back. Keeping neutral, I'm going to have her lift up on an exhale. Nice and steady, no gripping with your hands. Glue the legs together. If you feel like it's more effective, stick 2 balls between the knees. I'm going to go grab a second one for her ankles really quick here. And let me adjust that for you. There you go. So nice even squeeze. If you're going to put one between the knees, it makes sense to put one between the ankles. All right, so now when Lainey tips, there's no scissoring her legs and there's no bunny tail scooching. She's going to go right over to one side. So inhale, tip, and then exhale, contract, come back to center. Inhale, one hip. This hip's going to tip up as she tips over to her right. And then exhale, core controls you back to center. This is not an easy movement. Inhale. Good. And then exhale. Would you say this is one of your hardest movements? Inhale. And then exhale. So she's done 2 each side. I'm going to have her do 3 more each way. And I'll encourage you to do the same. So after all is said and done, you've done 5 each way for this round. You've gone too far when your hip kicks out to the side, and that's what I call the bunny tail. It's like you're almost moving your hip up, down this way versus side to side this way. This is a great internal oblique exercise, as well as really, again, acknowledging that pelvic floor and transversus. Nice. So after she's done her 3 each way, give a nice contraction on those balls between the legs. Perfect. All right, now I'm going to have her try a second set of 5 each way. So here we go. Inhale. And if you need a break in between these 2 sets, feel free to take a break, feet down, and then pause us and rejoin us when you're ready. Remember, we have to start getting out of the old train of thought that really any type of exercise that we're doing is like fast and furious versus functional and effective. And for many of us, that means we have to slow down. Good, you're doing great, Lainey. So it's almost as though when you're tipping, you're going to catch yourself just before you go too far. There's that fishing idea, that fishing reel inside your core, and then you're going to reel yourself back in. Watch not to overuse the glutes or hip flexors. If you feel like this second set of 5 was too much, just hold and breathe in that stable point in the center. Perfect. All right, let's drop your feet down. Keep the balls between your legs, though. Just take a moment and breathe, because guess what? We're going back to that weaker side. And just to help you slowly build up to that weaker side, we're going to only do 5 on the weaker side today. So nice big breath in. She's going to try to lift both of her legs. Awesome. Neutral pelvis. Use your hands if you need to. Lainey, go back to your weaker side for an additional 5. And then exhale. I can really see her core working. I can feel it active. Nice. I want to encourage you again. More does not equal better, especially in this movement. You'll notice that many of the movements in this 10-week series are very intrinsic, very small, very controlled, but they are incredibly effective. Awesome. So when you're ready, drop your feet down slowly. I'll grab the green balls for you. And then again, feel free, extend. If you want to, drop your hips side to side, almost like you're going to fall off the ball, but not quite. Perfect. So just a nice hip flexor stretch. Feels good. It's one of my favorite ones to do at home. All right, so realign your body again. And she's going to just make sure, that the green ball is in a nice neutral position for her. This time we're going to work with a little bit of a pelvic tip. So now we're actually going to tip front to back with our pelvis. So it's almost as though you're coming into a slight lordosis. If I kneel, we're just going to slightly tip the pelvis forward like our pubis bone is sliding down. And then deep pelvic floor contraction, bring it into neutral. We're not going to go the opposite way. We're just going to slightly tip and then try to control it back into neutral. Very much internal core work that can easily be overtaken by the gluteus maximus, that lower hunky glute muscle, or the hip flexors. So I want you to pay attention to that. Again, less is more. Neutral pelvis, Lainey. Exhale when you're ready. Lift the legs. Perfect. And then actually bring these little balls back for her. And again, use what you have. We have them available. All right, nice engagement. Deep breath in here, Lainey. Let's just stay here on the exhale. Just take a breath out, recontract. Now inhale from the hip, really small. Inhale, hinge, and then exhale, tip back. So it's like a slight pelvic tilt. Inhale. So she's actually tipping her pelvis slightly out of neutral. And then exhaling, coming back again. This is really challenging. Inhaling, tip. It's easy to go too far. Exhaling, hug on the green balls. Think about an internal rotation on your legs. Inhaling, tip, nice. And exhaling, great. Inhaling, tip. And exhaling. One more will be at 5. I'm going to encourage you to go for 5 more. If you feel like, whoa, that was really intense, just hold and breathe. One thing she really has to pay attention to is breathing into her side lungs, especially in a movement like this. If she was only breathing into her belly, she'd be breaking that contraction every single time she was supposed to be engaging. That's why you have lungs, to breathe into. Nice. How you doing, Lainey? Okay, awesome. So finish out that 5. Keep the ball under control. And after your last one, if you're still working, continue. Remove the balls and slowly drop your feet down. Again, just nice extension, stretch it out. Great. Perfect. So just give yourself a moment, laying your knees into the chest, let your back sink. So now you can get some nice extension through the lower back. Take a couple breaths for yourself. A little reward for all of your great hard work. All right, last exercise on your lower back is going to be leg circles. So remember these from last week. So I'll have Lainey bring both feet down momentarily. And with leg circles, we'll slowly through the week show you some different progressive variations. But for the time being, we're really focusing here. For many of us, when we do any type of movement, we focus on our limbs too much, and they're the furthest away from our core. We have to focus where the engine is and where the heavy-duty machinery is, and that's really inside your torso. All right, so neutral pelvis. I'll have her lift just her right leg to start, so floating that up flawlessly. As a reminder, you could very well keep your hand on the knee as a guide. This part of your leg, okay, your femur, that's what's moving, not this part. So we're not drawing circles with our ankle. Imagine it's just with the knee. So it frees out this part of your leg. As you remember from the last week, it's inhale, circle out, and then exhaling, circle up and through. She's drawing a circle about the size of a grapefruit to a small watermelon. It does not have to be huge because she has to stay stable here. Remember, we're not on the flat floor. We're on a non-stable surface. And too much of what we do during the day, I'm not even talking about your fitness routine, is on a flat man-made surface. So at least with working with a green ball like this or a mini ball, we're working with a little bit more of instability, which in a sense is teaching us stability. Awesome. So 5 one way, Lainey, and then 5 the other way. And I want to welcome you to that as well. 5 one direction, and then 5 the other direction. Making sure that you're not turning your ankle or turning your shin. She's really focusing on moving just her femur. It's almost as though you're holding the bowl with one hand, and then you're going to mix your cake batter with the other hand, and that spatula or whisk is your femur. And the pelvis is your bowl. So if you can visualize that and that's helpful for you, awesome. So once she's done her 5 and 5 for a total of 10, mindfully dropping that foot, she needs to readjust, and then lifting the opposite leg when she's ready. Stay grounded and rooted, making sure, okay, whenever you're ready, inhale to circle out, exhale to circle up and through. Nice. And if you're finding that you're having any sort of discomfort, feel free, you can do a half circle. Inhale, circle out, exhale, straight up and through. Honor your hip socket. We all are built differently, and it's really important that we honor that. So Lainey's going to keep track of her 5 and 5. I can guess which side is her more challenging side here for her. Ground and root through your opposite leg without gripping with your glutes. So again, really important. There's a lot to think about. And when I do this 10-week series live, that's usually a lot of the feedback that I get. Whoa, there's so much to think about. But that's why we have 10 weeks, that we can slowly, progressively continue to open your awareness. I promise you, after 10 weeks, you're going to feel like a totally different person. Awesome. Keep breathing, nice and stable. Awesome. All right, drop that foot down, take a breath. Think about which side needs more work. Guess what? You're going back to that side. So whenever Lainey's ready, she's going to set herself up, and she's going to go 5 and 5 again. I want to welcome you to that as well. So inhale, swinging out, exhale, circling back up and through. Mentally stay on par. If your mind is somewhere else, how can you effectively say that you are utilizing your body the way it should? And especially if you've lived most of your life in a misfiring body, meaning muscles that are doing other muscles' jobs that they shouldn't, which is usually why we injure ourselves, because they get tired and worn out and they're like, I can't do it anymore. We have to keep that mind-body connection. So it's not just some trendy little term that people use. Really, there is meaning behind it. So again, 5 and 5, and if you feel like only 2 circles each way is going to be your maximum, or maybe just 1 circle or just coming up and bringing the leg and holding, remember, this is about your body. I'm just giving you suggestions. Most of my students find that the second they can start listening to their body and really moving in terms of that, that's when success happens. Excellent. All right, so I'll have Lainey give herself a nice extension if she wants to drop her hips side to side again. Beautiful. Awesome. And then when she's ready, lift your hips, take the ball out from underneath, and then just give yourself a nice knee hug, Lainey. Maybe a little rocking or some circles on your lower back. Treat yourself to a little bit of release. All right, when you're ready, Lainey, I'm going to have you roll onto your side and stick that green ball underneath your oblique. So if you remember from last week, it's not on your bony hip or on your rib cage. It's on that fleshy portion between your hip and oblique. All right, excellent. So I'm going to check her hip, and she's a little rolled back, so I'm just going to tip her forward just a hair. And if that bottom hip is giving you some grief, maybe you have a little bit more of a bony protrusion, pad that hip. Simple, easy solution. Do you remember the type of variation with the legs from last week? Top leg can come forward, bottom leg has to scooch back. You're opening both ends of the scissors, not just one. So please use a variation that your legs are not flying up off the floor. Some people will say, well, can I anchor the legs? And my only suggestion is to that is, momentarily or temporarily, maybe, but we really want to teach the body how to properly work. And if we constantly use crutches like that, are you going to be using that in your everyday life? It's kind of like my favorite gym machines. You prop your legs underneath those things, and then you add all this crazy weight, and then you lift up and down, wrenching your body. Here, we're using our body as the extra weight. Totally different outcome. All right, so choosing your variation. Make sure your chest is open. There's no rotation in the chest and torso. When we rotate, a lot of times the top shoulder will come back. and the bottom shoulder will come forward so she can grip with her pectoral muscle. I want you to avoid that. Try to stay away from that. That's why we pull the bottom elbow back rather than pull it forward for most of our side lying exercises. All right, so she's going to stay plugged in here. When she's ready, minimal pressure on that front arm. I'd say in the beginning, maybe 70%. If you can get down to 50 or nothing. Some of the movements that are options for side lying is actually no top hand. So now you know where we're going with this. All right, inhale to prepare and just release the bottom elbow back. You're not lifting any higher. We're never pushing the head, keeping the top of the side of the neck nice and long. Lainey's going to take 4 more really very mindful breaths. Every time she exhales, she's feeling that co-contraction in your middle. What you'll find is that it's impossible to suck in positions like this because we're teaching our body how to withstand that bracing or co-contraction. So after Lainey's done her 5 breaths, she's going to touch down and take a moment for herself. Good. Awesome. So we're going to go again now, and this time we're going to go into that lift and lower series. So do you remember the breath? I'll just review it before we start. We're going to come up, inhale, exhale, just hold and hover. We'll inhale, float up without pushing. We're trying to use our oblique. Exhale, hold in place, don't move. Inhale, lower down to hover over the floor. Exhale, either touch down briefly or hold in place, don't move. Then we'll repeat the cycle again. We're going to try for 5 today. If you feel like 3 is more effective or 2, this is all about you. I have plenty of students that just hover and hold. They're not even ready for the lift and lower, but they get so much further along because they do that. Here we go. Deep breath in. Just lift and hold. Exhale. No pushing the head. Inhale, float up an inch or 2. Exhale, hold, soft top shoulder. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. This is 3. Inhale, lift. Keep the neck long. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. Here we go. Inhale, lift. This is 4. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. Last one. Inhale, lift. Soft top shoulder, exhale, hold, inhale, lower, exhale, release, stretch it out. Nice. So many times our mentality is, I want to move really fast. Lainey does a great job of really slowing down, but when we slow down, we create mind muscles. That's what we want. So when we do move faster in various exercises, we're very controlled. There's a difference between mindless and quick and very methodical and quick. All right, so now Lainey's going to actually switch over to her opposite side. If you want to, you can just roll over, but we're going to flip over just so you can stay facing us and we can stay facing you. Ball lines up. She's in one nice straight line. She's going to stagger her feet if she feels like that's appropriate. So again, she's staggering from the hip, not from the knee or the ankle. Perfect. And then if you want to kind of straighten out your feet like Lainey's doing, she's going to flex her feet, really feel like she's on the edge line of her feet, which is going to be really nice and active. Perfect. Here we go. So nice big breath in, pull the elbow back. We're going to hover and hold 5 breaths. So Lainey's going to keep track of her 5 breaths. I welcome you to do the same thing. Inhaling, you can tell again, this might be more of her challenge side for her. We're all human. I have definitely one. It's my right side. Good. Relax in your shoulder. Perfect. I can feel her external oblique really turn on. I'm not telling her to do anything, you can stretch it out, other than just lift and hold and co-contract, where all of her muscles work uniformly in their right positions and in their right places. Neutral, that's why that's so important, because when we don't put ourselves into neutral, we're just overusing the overused muscles and underusing the underused muscles. All right, now we're going to work with that lift and lower. So here we go. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, pull the elbow back. Inhale, float up an inch or 2. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower down. A lot of mental here. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lift. This is 2. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lift. Soft neck. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lift. This is 4. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Don't give up. Exhale, release it out. Stretch it out. Nice. So nice big pull, pressing through the top foot, reaching through the top arm. Imagine trying to peel your hip and rib away from each other just a little bit more. All right, so I know what weaker side this is for Lainey, so she's not moving at all, but I'll encourage you to go to your weaker side, especially with the oblique work. As a teacher, I know with an hour class, sometimes I don't have enough time to do 2-to-1 with everything. But when it comes to oblique work, I always try to do 2-to-1 ratio because most of us are so imbalanced because we only carry things with our one side. We only write with our one side. We only turn to our one side. So really important to revisit that weaker oblique, if anything. All right, here we go. We're going to do that hover and hold. So deep breath in, and let's just lift. Deep breath in. Relax your shoulder. We're just going to hold it here. Deep breath out. Keep breathing. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Soft neck. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. She's working hard. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more time. Breathe into your lungs. Down. Pause. We're going to keep going. Here we go. Deep breath in. Lift it up. Hold it. Exhale. Come all the way down. Come down. Come down. There we go. We'll get started over here. Inhale. Exhale, lift and hold. There we go. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hold. Relax your shoulder. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lift 2. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lift 3. She's working really hard. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. Soft shoulder. Inhale, lift 4. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hold. You can stay with me. Inhale, lift 5. Listen to your body. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower, and drop it down. Stretch it out. You'll really notice that second round, it's like, okay, I really notice these obliques. And you'll notice that nothing is cranking, we're not moving quickly, we're not forcing, but when you really pay attention to your core, you can't avoid it. It's going to incorporate, it's going to work, it's going to fire, you're going to be effective. Awesome. So now when you're ready, come up, off that ball, and just come onto your belly, Lainey, and just give yourself a nice stretch. Awesome. So just feel some length. Try to maybe take a moment here, really breathe into your back body. Take a breath for yourself. Awesome. Now hands under the shoulders, and we're going to move into a little bit of some prone work. So I'm going to have Lainey tuck. If I'm Lainey here, she's going to tuck that ball underneath, for women, their bust line, underneath the nipple line for men. So you should feel as though if you've ever done like work on your belly or you've read a book or watched TV, it really hurts your lower back in this position. You're basically propping the bottom of the rib cage on the front body in order to help support the lower back a little bit more. So it should be really comfortable. And if you do a lot of sitting during the day, shame on you. I want you to get down on the floor, and this is a great prop for a different position to put yourself in if you're reading or writing or playing a game with your kids so that you can feel more comfortable. As always, we're going to root the pubis bone into the floor so that we can really keep a nice neutral pelvis and also protect the lower back. If you're struggling with this, take a small hand towel and place that underneath your hip bones, and that will help just kind of tilt your pelvis into the right position, especially if your hips are very locked. Legs feel very neutral. If you need to, roll your toes under, shake your thighs out, and then lay your femur heads back down again. So she's doing a great job of staying long through her legs. Now she's going to bring her head down to the floor, and when she's ready, she's going to bring her arms. Actually, let's do hand over hand, Lainey, and forehead on the hands. And I'm just going to have her lift and hover just for today. We're just going to start prepping into some prone work. So deep breath in, stay rooted through your pubis bone, long through the lower back. Deep breath in, exhale, lift up your trunk. And I'm just going to have her hold here and breathe while I chat a little bit with you. I'll encourage you to do the same thing. When she's lifting and holding here, she's not overusing her glutes. She should feel her low back charging as well as her front core with her pubis bone anchoring down. For most of us, we're used to lifting on the inhale, and the reason why we're lifting on the exhale is because we want our core to be doing the work in our back. We can breathe into our lungs here so that when you come up, you're feeling that inhale once you're there. Let's have her hold here just a few more breaths. Back of the neck is nice and long. Shoulders are really open and soft. Having that ball there is just giving us a little bit more of a turbocharge in our core. Let's go one more breath. Nice. And then slowly relax. Take a breath. Awesome. So I'm going to have her change her arm position now to kind of a cactus position. Awesome. So she looks like a goalpost. Keep the back of the neck long. Root your pubis bone. Stay long through your legs. Deep breath in. And then exhale, lift using your trunk. So now she's drawing the arms back. What I want you to pay attention to, for most of us, because we are kyphotic, we pull the elbows back towards the hips so they go this way, and rather than staying at shoulder line and lifting up, so that we can really recruit upper trapezius and deltoid rather than mid-trap and mid-back. So really try to feel the difference between the two contractions. I'm actually going to come above leaning just to help the effect. Line up my shins with our triceps and just tip our arms up a little bit more, just for a little bit of an assistance with any possible kyphosis. Let's hold here and breathe. 5, 4, are you able to feel your back leaning? 3, in combination, keep the front core strong. 2, and 1, rest it down. Now hands under the shoulders, press back onto your heels. Keep your elbows tight when you push back. Awesome. So I'll move her ball for her. She's just gonna stretch it out. Nice breath, breathe into your back lungs, breathe into your back body. Awesome. And then slowly roll yourself back up to a tabletop. Great job. Let's just do 3 cat-cows here just for a nice little cool down. So bend your elbows, inhale, draw the heart forward. Exhale, round it out and lean back, tucking your tail. Feel openness from literally your tailbone to your forehead. Inhale, bend your elbows, sneak through that little hole, draw your shoulders back. Exhale, round it out. So I call this the uncat cow or the functional cat-cow because we want to incorporate the entire spine. Most of us, we lock our arms and we only use the upper body, which makes no sense considering most of us are locked up in the lower body. All right, nice job. Perfect. Roll your toes under, come into a forward bend. So just gonna walk back and just take a step forward here so you don't come off camera. Awesome, thanks. Feet are parallel and forward, spine is relaxing. Bend your knees as much as you need to keep a long line in your spine versus kind of a big basketball hump in your back. Now bend your knees, pelvic floor strong. Roll yourself up slowly. Remember that extension. So she's going to come up into functional extension and then slowly come back to center, hands to heart. Great job, Lainey. Thanks so much. So this week I want to encourage you to work with these exercises at least 3 to 5 times this week. If you can get on your mat consecutively, awesome. But I want to encourage you, slow down and pay attention. I promise you over these 10 weeks, what we've been working on is going to change the way you use your core, change the way you move and breathe. I look forward to seeing you again on the mat. Namaste.